Welcome back. Now, a large portion of the world's youth reside in G20 countries. And while the G20 provides platforms for the youth to engage on policy and have influence on various global issues, just how can South Africa's youth with an unemployment rate of 46% and young entrepreneurs benefit from the upcoming G20 meeting in November? Innocentia Motau, SA representative of the G20 Young Entrepreneur Alliance, joins us with her take. Innocentia, thanks so much for your time this afternoon. And let's start there, right? Talking about the role that the G20 Young Entrepreneurs Alliance plays in the grander scheme of things in terms of influencing policy shift as well.
Thank you for having me, and thank you to the viewers back at home. It's a big story. It's a big, broad story of 20 top countries, 20 top economies. So the alliance itself is comprised of business organizations that look after interest of young business people. In it, we meet at a platform, we conversate about what makes entrepreneurs to lose sleep, and then we go back and talk to the policy custodians, which is our government. Let me tell you a bit about the alliance. So we actually are called the G20 Young Entrepreneur South Africa Foundation. 14 years, formed in 2011, and we are hosting because our president raised his hand to host. Over time, when we meet at that platform, one is to connect with other entrepreneurs. So we take young South Africans to an alliance summit at a hosting country, and they connect, they network, they talk business among themselves. Post that, we develop a document called the communique. In that communique, we highlight themes of all problematic sections of our businesses, be it in policy support, access to finance, access to markets, and being very globally and flat so that the G20 countries can do business together. That document is then signed by the leaders, Young Entrepreneur Alliance leaders, and then brought back to our governments for them to see. Then we have dialogues of saying, how do we make this happen? How do we convert this into action? Where is it going to find expression in our business from a policy perspective? And that's how the dialogue pretty much starts from our alliance point of view.
And talking about that dialogue and, turning what we talk about into action and implementation, talk to me about the kind of opportunities this kind of alliance presents for, young entrepreneurs in the country.
Yeah, so we're expecting close to about 600 plus young entrepreneurs from G20 countries as well as invited countries, Singapore, Sri Lanka, Nepal, I think. And there it's where our South Africans need to go present their export-ready products to connect with their peers, and also even those that are not even in business but aspiring to be in business. These kind of platforms are quite key for them, to create that aspiration, to get that motivation to say entrepreneurship is actually the future for job creation. Let's all come together and work on it. The biggest challenge I think we're facing as we're building up to our event in September is the education and induction of our South African young people who don't even know what G20 is all about, right? So what's the point of us as platform creators hold a summit where only those that know will benefit? So we, as YESA, we are actually getting into an induction roadshow to help and educate our young business people and get them up to be export ready, and they must know what they need to take out of the conference. It's not just about attending, it's about packaging themselves prior to the conference, be specific about what they want to go share with the world, because the world will be like, good product. Tomorrow, let me sign up, are you ready? We need to get that readiness going for them. And that's a big part of a big opportunity for us.
And really an opportune time to have those export-ready products, considering where we are when it comes to trade across the globe, right? Let's look at, the local landscape. I highlighted at the top that we sit with an unemployment rate of, or youth unemployment rate of about 46%. Growth really stagnant as well. Here at home, do we have a conducive environment for these entrepreneurs to thrive?
We do. I think policy does talk a lot about opening up doors for young entrepreneurs, creating funds that are, catalysts to getting them to do business. But my issue tends to always lean around the education part of it.
Okay.
They don't reach out much to young people to show them products they have. I mean, I just been to a session of a bank where we learned about a product, but I was fortunate enough to learn about a product there. Who else would know about that product? So there's a lot of lack actually and deficit in terms of marketing products that are out there to encourage young people to start businesses. One business in Soweto, a spaza shop selling food, can create 5 jobs. Number one. Do we talk about those conversations? We talk about opportunities a lot, but in terms of them putting them back to life, we're thin on that, and it's where we need to focus. And I think the G20 opportunity for the country is that time, is that opportunity, is this event that's going to bring that vibrancy of more conversations and more impact-driven, projects. We must celebrate success. So I might want a business, but I wouldn't know how it looks like. So I imagine it, it's an idea, I've ideated, but I don't know how it looks like. We need billboards of success stories of young people who are in business so that we can create that inclusivity, that yearn to want to know why is she on the billboard. So I think as a country we need to just build that capacity of communicating opportunities and putting them to life and celebrating the successes.
So you mentioned issues around education. It does seem like there is a skills gap, a skills shortage. You talk about marketing as well. What about challenges that come with, I guess, access to funding?
Access to funding and access to markets, right? That's been the biggest nightmare for entrepreneurs. And it's all that, thing of, we're not talking about now there's a transformation fund that's been launched. I'm still yet to understand how it works. So we need capacity on the ground, even if it's flyers being dropped at locations and schools, giving a dummy's guide of what it means, how you can get into it and tap into it tomorrow. We still don't know. So it's a lot of searching. There's just not information available at hand. But it's up to us, it's our responsibility to make sure that that information, we help the government to get that information out, because we know about those things. We're pretty privileged in terms of attending certain product sharing information. And, I can't do it alone, you can't do it alone. It needs these collaborative lobby groups to also just amplify their voices as to what is out there for young entrepreneurs to know about, to start thinking about, to start knowing that the modalities exist. You just need to question at the right place at the right time, and for the government to create access to market. Our conference in September is really about creating access to markets. The good thing about it as well is that we're going to be sharing success stories of South African women, female-owned businesses, working with an Italian boutique, furniture, top table manufacturer who are at Gramaville. It's those stories. And ours is about impact. What have you been doing in the last 15 years? So hopefully we educate them enough, our young entrepreneurs, from the townships, from astute burbs, to say, come see what's possible. Prepare yourself so that when you get what's possible, you are ready to pounce.
Be ready. So you just recently traveled to China, and we recently got the G20 presidency from Brazil. What kind of lessons can be learned from, those bigger markets, I guess, yes, emerging, but bigger in a sense? What lessons can be learned from those markets that can be applied here at home, that our young entrepreneurs can apply in their businesses as well?
Number one, Brazil was a very good example for us because we're both developing countries, and we learned that there is so much appetite out there of business people wanting to make the world very flat and connect with like-minded people, like-minded businesses, and source out what they don't have in their own country to source out where it can be outsourced. A case on point is China. I'm from China, and Chinese are quite aggressive in marketing their brand, which is supply, which is technology. And they were like, Innocentia, when you come to South Africa, what we have, how is it going to complement your problems? And how is what you have going to complement our problems? And that was basically the conversation we had in China, where we met parastatal CEOs, Forbes 500 companies, saying, we're coming to South Africa, but can we align before we go, right? Because it's all about our economies. We all want to grow this economy. We all want to create jobs. But we need specific projects that we can, leverage from our countries. We all don't have the same strengths and weaknesses as the G20, as the BRICS bloc. So what you learn out of it is that South Africa is actually rich in a lot of things that the world needs. But we must just continue educating our young people and our business people to grab them as much as they can. And our government must help preparing them to take up those opportunities. China was quite a success, and maybe I will maybe share on the themes that the G20 in its entirety is going to focus on: energy, renewable energy. They're going to focus on technology. We're not the best technology churners as South Africa, but our counterparts, China, our counterparts in the EU, are key technology churners. So we need to always understand where we're sitting, what strengths we have, what can we give back to other countries, and what other countries can bring back to make sure that our economies are vibrant and they're running the way we want them to run.
Innocentia, thanks so much for your time and joining us this afternoon.
It's my pleasure.
That was Innocentia Motau, SA representative of the G20 Young Entrepreneur Alliance.